The University of Oregon is located in Eugene, a city of 80,000 people, situated in the lush Willamette River Valley, midway between Cascade Mountains and the Pacific Ocean.
Touchdown! Stewart! Yeah, I got your speed right here.
Hey, ball corner 10, outside butt. Are you kidding me?
I'm really proud of where this team's at. We got a lot of work to do.
What's the deal, Duck family? I am Kenjon Bonner alongside my brother Jay Stu, and we want to welcome you to another episode of the Ducks of a Feather podcast. Week 1 of the playoffs in the books. Ducks get the job done. 51-34. JMU came up just a tad bit short. But before we jump into that, as always, my guy, how was the weekend? What did we do? What did we get into? What made us happy this weekend?
You know what made me happy? You know, it was bittersweet Saturday.
Oh my gosh, don't go there. Don't go there.
It was bittersweet Saturday. You know, Oregon won, but not in the fashion in which I wanted to. We'll get to that later, you know.
We'll get to that.
But you want to know what made me happy? Them Carolina Panthers, okay? The Carolina Panthers did their thing, man. They came out there in Bank of America Stadium, and they showed out, okay? Bryce Young, you know who was the best quarterback last week, week 16? Bryce Young.
Bryce Young
was the best quarterback last week, and he is performing like he was performing last year in December. And, you know, December, meaningful games, you know, you're only remembered for what you do in December, okay? In the NFL. And so that is all I cared about on Sunday. It was that Carolina Panther victory. I came back home to hang out with my daughters, and we made Play-Doh people. Made people out of Play-Doh. So, you know, that was a perfect day. My wife, she made some food, made me a steak, made me a potato, baked potato, loaded. Okay, loaded. Okay.
You eat that swine?
It didn't have no bacon in there. But
so it wasn't loaded.
It was loaded with everything else though. Butter, onions.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't have I guess it wasn't loaded. We had cheese, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the bacon makes it loaded, huh?
I mean, that complete the loaded process.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you gotta make sure that, you know, my wife, she makes sure she take care of me, man. You know, the process of cooking meals at home is done with care. So it was a complete day on Sunday, man. I had a fantastic weekend because, you know, all the things, you know, consider.
Yeah.
You know, besides certain aspects of Saturday and that defense. We're going to get to that though, right?
We gonna get there.
But how was your weekend, brother?
Weekend was good, man. I was supposed to be in Oregon for the game, but I ended up, so my weekend kind of started early. I flew to Oregon on Thursday, and I recorded the video that's kind of going around, that is going around social media for Oregon.
A little virality.
Yeah. Oregon? Have you ever been to Oregon? So recorded that, had a dope time, seen my boy, seen his wife and his baby girl. Shout out to Lo. Seen her, then hopped on a flight. So I got to Oregon at about 1 or 2 o'clock on Thursday. Hopped on a flight 5:30 a.m. on Friday.
You was in and out.
In and out like the burger, baby.
You had a book.
That's it. That's it. So flew in, book bag and a suit bag. That's all I needed. So got in, did that, left 5:30 the next morning, flew out to New York, drove to Connecticut, and got ready to do my thing on CBS. So I got the opportunity. Man, it was amazing. Always is. Shout out to Brian McFadden, was on set with him. Got the opportunity to meet, greet, chop it up, mix it up with all those guys. Watch some football. I came up out the box this weekend. I got out that box. They allowed me to come in and talk NFL. So I got the
What you was talking about?
You know, talking about them Philadelphia Eagles versus them Washington Commanders.
Okay.
You know, covered that game.
That boy Saquon, boy.
Yeah, had a day. It's about time. But yeah, so did that. Watched the Bama game, watched the Miami game, and obviously I watched the Oregon game today. I seen like bits and pieces of it on Saturday, but it's so, while you're in studio.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all the games.
Yeah, because you have to be tuned in what's coming up next. And so the primary objective at that particular point in time was the Philadelphia Eagles game, which was on at the same exact time. And so I couldn't really lock in like I wanted to. I kept catching glimpses, seeing the score. I would be able to sit and watch it a little bit, but did that, then spent literally all day yesterday in the airport because I had the Chargers post-game live show. So flight left at 6:30. I was in the airport at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just so I could be somewhere, watch the game, and then record, and then got home at about 1 a.m. And here we are, brother. So that was my weekend.
That was
my weekend.
You was jet setting, boy.
Yeah, listen.
Does your brain hurt?
No, you know, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this.
Hey, there you go.
You know, I listen.
See?
My daddy called me a road runner. I've been running these streets a long time, Stu. On the go.
On the go.
There.
Always on the go. You is always busy. You always, and not busy in the sense of like, oh, just busy. No, you be out here intentionally putting in that work. Okay.
Yeah.
And I love to see it. I
appreciate
it's an
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. You know, so I'm here for you.
And I'm here for you.
Yeah, no, I'm here for you.
But not more than I'm here for you. But this is a two-way street. Reciprocity exists right here, okay?
Man, all right.
That was the weekend. Go ahead.
So you was watching the other playoff games. What was your biggest takeaway from these playoff games that you saw this weekend outside of Oregon?
Bama can't run the ball. That's my major takeaway from there. I think you can rattle Ty Simpson. I think I like Bama's defense, but I think they're one-dimensional offensively.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's kind of waiting on Nick Saban to come through that door with this Alabama team, but that's just not the case. This isn't the Nick Saban days of Alabama. So I don't necessarily see Bama getting past Indiana in this next round. Watching that Miami and A&M game, I think Miami found something in their run game. I think they should have stuck with that way earlier in the game. I think Carson Beck is inconsistent. There's a lot of hype around him and was a lot of buildup, especially while he was at Georgia. But I do think Miami's defense is elite.
Yeah, that defensive line?
That defensive line ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing to play with at all. Who am I missing? Then obviously us. I think that going back to that Miami A&M game, I think A&M, they just didn't look like they belong. Defensively, they were there, but when you look at them offensively, their quarterback was making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand. I didn't understand. Obviously, they were good during the regular season, but
well, you know what happens when that pressure coming to the kitchen, right?
And that pressure busts pipes.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what you see in this, especially in college football. It's so easy to game plan for a college quarterback. Yeah. Unless they are pro ready. You feel me?
Very true.
So when you go into these situations, you see these quarterbacks that you've been seeing air it out throughout the whole year, and then all of a sudden you get on a stage where everybody's watching you. What are you going to do? Right? Yeah. Especially when you're playing level to competition. That's what the playoffs is all about. It's about sniffing out the ones that don't belong. Right? And they just didn't belong. So they just like Tulane. They just like JMU. You don't belong because if
they didn't.
And that's what this playoff is all about. If you get knocked out, it's because you don't belong.
You don't belong. And then Marcel Reed, dual threat quarterback, right? But just throwing the ball just wasn't there, and they didn't have a run game at all.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's more credit to Miami and their defense, or the lack of ability on A&M's running, on the lack of ability from A&M's coordinator to be creative enough to foster a run game, right?
Yeah.
I think two things can be true at once. Then getting into that Ole Miss Tulane game, it was over from the start. It was over before it even got going.
What do you think is the most impressive win out of those matchups? I'm gonna tell you mine. Ole Miss. Without that,
I was going to go there.
The reasoning behind it is because Lane Kiffin, right?
Everything they went through.
And that team, somehow, with that coach, was able to rally and go in there and make a statement like, nah.
Absolutely.
We supposed to be here. Tulane ain't supposed to be here.
Supposed to be here.
It showed.
They made that evident. They made that evident again. The weight challenge lady was singing before the game got going. But before the national anthem was sung, the weight challenge woman was singing before then.
Man, listen, there needs to be a visual. Right, you got that? Do a visual.
I was impressed with Miami's win as well, right? Because in the midst of nothing going your way, you found a way.
Yeah.
And in these playoffs, like oftentimes you're going to have to find something. You're going to have to, in the heat of the moment, you're going to have to redirect and adjust and adapt. And I thought Miami did that effectively with their run game, leaning heavily on, what's my guy's name? Mark Fletcher, who has 17 carries for 172 yards.
Yeah.
Like you should have been feeding him all game long, in my opinion. But to your point with Ole Miss, with everything going on around them and not around them, but in the midst of them, right? This isn't just media talk. This isn't outside noise. No, this is noise that came internally. From
within.
Yeah, from within. And so for that coaching staff and for those players to tune out the noise that was generated by their program, come into that playoff game and be as dominant as they were, because they could have folded.
Yeah.
But the mindset and the mentality and what I received from that game was, no. We don't bend, we don't fold, we don't break.
Yeah.
We here, we gonna play ball, and if you get us, you're gonna have a problem on your hand. I was highly impressed with that Ole Miss team. I like Trinidad. I'm a big fan of his. I think I chose in that next round, I chose them over Georgia.
You did, huh?
I did.
Yeah.
We talked about that. It's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Everybody has something to prove, right? But they got something extra to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's doubting them. Everybody's counting them out. You can't do this because Lane Kiffin's not here. So the head coach, who's standing in place, he has something to prove.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Like, whenever you have a change of leadership and you have something good going for you, and all of a sudden you just kind of get blindsided, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you see a team buys in through the performance they put against Tulane, right? That tells me one thing. They recommitted.
Yeah.
All those players on that roster, when you commit to a school, you commit. Lane Kiffin left. Golden got the hire. They recommitted. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Yeah, that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. Again, for a team, everybody has something to prove during this time of year. Everybody's trying to get to a national championship. But Ole Miss has a little something extra. And now, again, you get another SEC match in a game where you were up 9 to 10 points that Georgia had to fight back from a deficit to win that game, that first go-round. And I'm sure you feel like you should have won. I'm sure. And I watched that game, so I know that there was things that you could have done differently that would have solidified that win for you. So I'm not... I love what Georgia has turned into. I love what Gunner has turned into at the quarterback spot. I love what you have to love what Georgia's doing defensively. Yeah. Right? They're absolutely dominant.
Smart, man.
Yeah, Kirby's no joke, especially this time of year. What their defense did against Alabama in that SEC championship game, they made Alabama look like they didn't belong at all. That's a whole nother story that we ain't got to go into. Anytime you blow it. No, they didn't luck out.
They lucked out with Oklahoma.
Biased. No. Biases. That's what, again, people look at this Alabama team based off of what Nick Saban created, based off of what he did, based off of what those national championship teams were. This is not that Alabama, but they get the benefit of the doubt.
Derrick Henry in there.
Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Calvin Ridley, all these different dudes, right? This Alabama team is riding on the coattail of what Nick Saban and those teams did.
And they get USC.
The USC of the SEC.
Yeah, put it right there. Hey, just quote.
But yeah, the USC of the SEC, living off of what you used to be. In the words of Meek Mill, I never got used to being what I used to be, okay?
Yeah.
All right, and that's what y'all used to be. Y'all, again, they're trying to get there, and I was impressed with their win. They did their thing. But listen, enough about them, enough about everybody else. Let's keep the main thing, and keep it moving on. Let's talk about this Oregon Duck team, who came out looking extremely impressive. Came out, we talked about this, and I think the rest of the world talked about this. How is this team going to look after having time off? Because historically, over the past 2 seasons, we don't do well with time off. Even this season, coming off of bye weeks, we came out looking lethargic. The energy wasn't there. The execution wasn't there. We were kind of trying to find our identity again after these bye weeks. And so that was a big question, and very, very pleased with how they came out and how they put their foot on the gas and didn't take it off until they did.
Yeah.
But very, very impressed with this game. We're going to jump into more details, but Dante Moore, 19 of 27, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which in my opinion were not his fault. Malik Benson fell down on one. The ball hit him in his arm and bounced into the arm of the defender. And then on his second pick, Jamari fell. I'm trying to come back to the ball and gave a free ball to the DB as well. Maybe under pressure he was, or maybe should have threw it away. But tried to make a play. So I'll go 50-50 on that. You know, you got the receiver slipping down and the ball probably being sent where it shouldn't have went. But he had a day. Jordan Davison again, 10 carries, 90 yards. De'Aaron Hill, 6 for 76. Long of 56 and a touchdown. Noah Whittington, 4 of 24. But the man that continues to rise to the forefront of this team, Malik Benson, 5 catches, 119 yards, 2 tugs. And the human highlight reel that has emerged on this team that has surfaced, Jeremiah McKellen, J-Mac. 6 for 83 and a touchdown. Jamari Johnson, highlight, one-handed catch.
To set he out here igniting things, okay?
Yeah.
Big boy.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about a tight end, when I think about a tight end, it looks like him. But when we have a tight end like Kenjon Sadiq, you don't get them every day. Okay. So when you over here wishing for a tight end, we blessed. Okay. You don't get them all the time.
Oregon is turning into tight end you. When you go back to last season with T. Ferg. Then you get Kenjon Sadiq this season. Then right after him, you're going to have Jamari. But then you have Kendre coming in from out of North Carolina, who's a absolute monster. Well, they're doing some things at the tight end position. I think defensively, Bryce led the way with 9 tackles, but you had a bunch of guys getting in TFLs. Bryce had half a TFL. Brandon Finney Jr., Bear Alexander, Tatum Tuioti, who had an absolute day. Tione, Amari Washington, Ashton Porter. A bunch of people contributed in this game. We didn't get to this quarterback like I thought we would.
Yeah. He was slippery, and they were intentional about how they use him though with the RPO, right? Like, you know, those plays where he was getting out of there, it was intentional, and credit to him because he was physical, and how he was running the ball. We haven't really seen a quarterback like that this year, being able to, you know,
I didn't think about that.
Like the eye test, you know, you pass the eye test, but then do you pass the performance test? And I
would you I don't want to interrupt you, but would you when you say that we hadn't faced anyone like him this season, I would say the closest person to that is UW's quarterback, right? Yeah, and that's where I was headed.
But they're different, right? I think that UW quarterback's not physical. He's going to outrun you, make you miss. This quarterback, he was willing to put his body out there.
Boy, did you see what he did to Brandon Finney Jr.?
Boy.
And we talking about Damon Williams Jr. from Washington. Boy, decleated B. Finn.
Yeah, the young boy. Hey, young fella. You know, young man. You a freshman. I've been doing this longer than you, okay?
I've been doing this, Sway. I've been doing this.
But I think, you know, Bob Chesney, you know, picking up where Kurt Signetti left off, like, that's a program that I see why, you know, you talk about the Group 5, right?
Yeah.
You know, give these guys a chance because technically they earned to be there given the process.
Not technically. They earned it. They earned it.
Yeah, you know, technically, I'm saying technically because technically this whole thing needs to change up because it don't make no sense. But under the situation and policies and plan, they deserve to be there. And it was cool to see, you know, how he was able to have this team ready and to be able to travel across the country to Autzen Stadium into an environment that wasn't friendly and to be able to finish the game.
Yeah.
The way they finished, right?
Strong.
You know, strong. And this is a guy that's also like, you know, Tosh Lapoy, Will Stein. They're all going to be head coaches at another place next year. He's going to be a head coach at UCLA next year, Bob Chesney. And so for him to see how he operated from being a head coach and knowing that he's also a head coach in UCLA, being in two places at the same time, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. It's hard to get these guys to buy in to something that you've been saying all year. And then all of a sudden it changes, right? Because wait, you telling us, what are you telling your new team, right? Because that's like, I'm just keeping it a buck, right?
No, you're real.
These are things that are going to be happening in my mind as a player and yet a young mind, right? Like, do you really care? Like, I'm just wondering, bro. Like, are you here, bro? Are you for us? Or do you want us to, like, do I trust your game plan? Like, I'm just being honest. So for him to be able to have this team rally the way they did across the country, they knew what the situation was. Oregon's offense, they played elite, led by Dante Moore. Okay.
Yeah.
That defense.
Listen, I'm not entirely mad at the defense. I'm not. And here's why.
Hold on. Before you get there, I ain't completely mad about it either, because if you use it for good, this can turn out okay. Because this can be a wake-up call more than anything else. But go on.
And to your point, I love the way Coach Lanning and the coaching staff handled this team post-game.
Yeah, I was brought up to speed about that.
There was no celebrating. Mm-hmm. There was no music.
Yeah. Cut the music.
Cut it off. This ain't that, and that ain't this. I loved how they handled that. Yeah. I thought that was perfect, because again, I watched the full game today. I'm watching the game. I'm like, they handled their business. Majority of what took place once they started pulling the starters out.
The first half, 190 yards. You've been averaging, giving up 250 yards a game. They put up 190 in that first half. That's JMU, okay?
But here's what I'm saying. JMU showed up. JMU came to play. And sometimes that's just what it is. Sometimes
it's not going to happen in playoffs. Sometimes you're going to be up out of there if you get ready.
1,000%.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at this as practice.
Yeah.
You practice how you play.
You're right.
And you put up a bad practice.
Get out my notes.
Okay.
Get out my notes.
You practice like you play. And so whatever you put out there, Texas Tech over there saying, okay, aggressive safeties. Boom, check. They like to come up there and be run support right immediately when they see run. When they see a swing pass out there into the flat, into the swing, right? I'm jumping it, right? Yeah. And that's when they hit us over the head with a double pass. Okay? The play right before that, they ran a little inside zone, bounced it to the outside, and safety came down there and swiped. Good job, safety.
Yeah.
Too high. 2-man high. Safety. You come down. I love that. I love that attitude. But you got to be disciplined, young man.
Yeah.
Okay? Got to know situational ball. Okay? Yeah. They throw that swing pass. You have got to be on alert. Okay? At all times for that double pass. Especially against a team like JMU who ain't got nothing to lose. Okay? So when you put it on film, Texas Tech is putting it up. They pulling it up and say, okay, aggressive safeties. That's going to be a weakness that we can exploit. And so, and there's a lot of those types of things in the chunk plays that we saw the defense give up. And a large portion of that was in the second half. I'm very much so aware of that, but it still is all about the standard. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish?
Hold on. I got to show you something. I told you in my notes. You see what that say?
The standard, okay?
Okay.
Right? And so, like, what are you trying to accomplish here? We trying to have deja vu? Okay? We trying to have deja vu? We're going to see Indiana again. Okay? And if we don't see we're going to see somebody.
You're going to see somebody.
Before. It's going to be Indiana or Ohio State. Okay? One of them two.
But you'll see Indiana before you get to Ohio State.
Right. But like, you going to have deja vu or you going to rewrite history?
Yeah.
Be on the other side of history, man.
1,000%.
Get them keep them boys right. Now, yeah, and before, ladies and gentlemen, before we got on this call, you know, me and Kenyon, we almost gotten this little back and forth, but we both, you know, Kenyon was saying it's the players, and I was hot about the coach, right?
Yeah,
because I know the situation right now. Like you balance in two worlds right now, but that's not an excuse for the players that you bought into. Okay?
But to that, Stu,
Will Stein had them boys ready. Whatever the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, them boys was ready.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. I will never doubt for 1 second that Tosh didn't have these dudes ready.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when you get out on that field, you have to execute and you have to maintain a level of intensity and energy on your own.
Yeah, players play.
The coaches do their job Monday through Friday. They're coaching on Saturday, but it's your job when you step on that field to maintain whatever level of focus and energy that is required to go out there and execute the game plan.
Boy, you so right.
It's not on Tosh. Tosh can't make you make tackles.
No, he can't.
Tosh can't tell you to be better technically. He can't help you be better technically on Saturday. That's not Tosh. That's you with bad technique on the field. You worked on your technique all week long, and you get in this game, and you decide to lose your damn mind. That's not on Tosh.
So, do you think that this defense got laxed?
Yes,
through their preparation. You think it was their? But you think it was their laxed?
I don't think it was their preparation that was laxed. I think it was the team that they were facing. Come on now, we've been here. I've been on record saying it. When we played Colorado, whether we was going out there or they was coming to us, practice was not serious for me.
Right.
I knew what we were going to do.
You were dead wrong.
Dead wrong. Dead wrong. But guess what? I was right, but at the wrong time.
Hey, you sure was.
Because came Saturday, guess what? We had back practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and had a great walkthrough Friday and put 60 points up. So
that's because y'all was special. That's because y'all was special, man. Y'all had everybody on y'all team running 4 threes.
We was gonna execute. That was the bottom line. And so we've been here as players, bro. Where it's certain team, even in the league, you got a team on your schedule. You know they trash. You got the Cleveland Browns on your schedule,
right?
You know they got some good players.
That's why it's called any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday. And so I understand. We've been there. Yeah. And so for the fan, like when you're facing a team that you know you're gonna beat, sometimes things go wrong. You don't want it to happen, and it shouldn't happen. But the bottom line is we're all human.
Yeah.
And we all listen. I know who we're playing, bro. We about to dog these boys. We about to walk. Come here. Sit down. Have a seat. Stay.
The dog.
Stay. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. But this was more so, to your point, this was guys becoming complacent. This was guys being lax because I know we're going to win.
Especially because there was chunk plays that were given up, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if he's passing, his first pass interference was questionable. Very, very, but after that, your next one, bro, your technique was trash. You're standing straight up. While a guy is in the middle of coming off the line, chopping his feet, you know he's about to do something. Sit your behind down. Stay in good position. That's not a Tosh thing. That's not a Wadu thing. That's an iffy thing.
Yeah.
Knight's long run. There's 3 missed tackles on that play. Mixon, Dylan Thieneman, and I believe it was Aaron Flowers. That's not a Tosh thing. Come up and make the tackle. Then there's Brady Platt. That's not a guy that plays a lot, gets burnt on a real route. That's not a Tosh thing. Yeah. That's a you not coming in and being able to execute and do your job.
So do you see this as a problem? The inability to stay focused?
That's a problem. That's the problem.
When you are on the field, no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter what happened in the week, no matter what happened that outside of your control, you can't stay focused for 4 quarters.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
But here's the thing. It's easy to stay locked in where you're playing in Ohio State or in Indiana. It's easy to stay locked in when you got a Miami or a Bama or somebody, a name in front of you, right?
And
we got mentally weak.
You know what that reminds me of? you've played injured, right?
Yeah.
The level of focus that you have when you're playing injured.
Imagine if you had that when you were healthy.
Boy.
I know, okay, I got to make sure that everything that I do on this play, my footwork, everything has to be on point.
When I get to that line of scrimmage, the feet are up and down.
I'm hurt.
Yes.
Everything is heightened. In order for me to be at my best, that's the level of focus that you're supposed to have. And this team, again, it's very, when we think about mental toughness, we think about things that when we got to get through something, when everything is going everything is going wrong.
Yeah.
It's hard. I got to be mentally tough to get through this. The game's not going away. No. But mental toughness also comes into place where you're blowing a team out.
Yeah.
Can I be mentally tough enough to stay locked in and execute at a high level despite the emblem on the jersey across from me?
Yeah. You got to play like you dealing with something.
Yeah.
That's the conversation I was having. Yeah. Like I was having it with TD. Thomas Davis, because Thomas he played through injuries. I played through injuries, and it was literally a blessing for me to be injured so much to where I was able to just have this inner channel of, no, you got to play like you're dealing with something. Whatever that is, it has to be the thing that is driving you. And it can be past experiences. It can be past hurts. Whatever it is, that dark place, you got to take yourself there. And you have to be there. You just got to be there for a couple of hours. 4 quarters.
An hour
at that, right? But just
an hour of total football.
Just stay locked in. And I guarantee you, boy, if you find that thing that make you go, you know what I'm saying? What Coach Kip say? Go take your game piss. And be ready to go play.
For the guys that got into this game that don't normally play a lot, just as sure as opportunities are earned, they're lost.
Give me that.
They're lost. So when you guys get on this field and you go out here, think about what you're putting on this film. Think about what you're saying to your coach. Like y'all had everybody don't get this opportunity.
No.
How many ever college Division I college football teams out there wishing they could be in a college football playoff, and you guys didn't take advantage
last week?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We 1%.
1%ers, yeah. You didn't take advantage of an opportunity, and to the veterans, to the guys that do play, now the leadership has to step in because the standard doesn't change, right? You're playing to a standard.
Yeah.
The standard doesn't change if you're playing Indiana or JMU. The standard is what it is. You're either playing to the standard, playing at the standard, or you're playing above it. You should never dip below.
Yeah.
And we dip below what the standard for Oregon football is. That's the bottom line. And so to the guys, again, that do play, you guys are setting the tone for those dudes coming in once you come off the field.
Yeah.
So to Dylan Thieneman, and this is not a call out to them because you guys have put your best foot forward all season long, right? We all have moments. But when you guys see that something is not going right, when you see that the guys that are on the field are underperforming, there should never be a time where starters are pulled out the game and then the entire starting group has to go back in.
Yeah.
What are you doing on the sideline?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be Tosh. It shouldn't be a Tony T. It shouldn't be Wadu. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be these dudes having to rally the troops and get on somebody's behind. You guys are the standard.
Yeah.
So hold it.
Yeah, especially when last year you went through this. There's a lot of players on this team that's been through this when they went for a long time without playing with the bye week and whatnot, and then you show up to Ohio State put BTA. And so now you come into this situation where you understand what it takes. You know, the level of complacency is what I see.
That's what it was. It was complacency. They got complacent. That's what it was.
And that's what irks me the most, right? As a player, especially retired, right? You know, when we speak, bro, it's not because we've done it better sometimes. It's because when we speak on these things, it's because we know better.
We've done it. We've done it. We've lived it.
We lived it. We've seen it. We have the hindsight. You have the experience. You got 3 Super Bowl rings. You've seen 3 times what it takes from 3 different teams, 3 complete different operations of how you win Super Bowls. And so you take that and you look at how guys that you're so passionate about, this is an Oregon podcast. And so we went to Oregon. So we are passionate about this, right?
Yeah.
And so we are talking from a place of, hey, don't mess this up. Don't
make the same mistakes I made.
Right.
Don't do what I did. Go ahead.
KB was right there with y'all. Okay. Like where y'all was at. He was down there in Arizona against Auburn.
Yep.
And was right there and saw the trophy.
Yep.
And saw it run away. Literally.
Yep. Watch that confetti fall for the other side.
Right. And so at the college level, man, you only get one shot. You only get one shot.
And professional. And at the professional level, you may not get the one. Opportunities don't come around.
But with college, it's like that. Yeah. And the same thing with the pros. But like, the level of complacency is what shows up when I see, okay, we're taking all the starters out. So now the main play caller, the main leader is no longer here as big bro. Another big bro got to step up.
Got to step up. But even I'm Deuce Staley. I love got one of the best coaches that I had.
Deuce
used to tell us, bro, stay locked in. Because you can help them young dudes that's going into the game after you see something that they didn't see. You could help. Yeah. You could be the reason that you could be the reason that they make a big run the next time they touch the ball. Don't be selfish.
Yeah.
They stayed locked in the entire time you were in the game. Return that favor to your teammates.
You could be I'm going to take it a step further. You could be the reason why your teammate gets paid. Okay? Could be. And at the end of the day, you know what this is all about. When it gets to a certain level, the loyalty, it's all about that paycheck. I'm just going to keep it 100. Yeah. Okay? Keeping it in $1. And that's the reason why this playoff situation here is all jacked up. Why on earth is Texas Tech playing in Florida for the first time? They stepping into the playoffs. It's the same discussion we had last year, right?
These should all be home games.
All home games for these guys, man.
These should all be home. It's part
of the atmosphere. It's part of the playoff structure. It's part of home field advantage. It's part of the fan experience.
But you know why it's that way. You know why it's that way.
The loyalty. That's why I started thinking about it, because the loyalty ain't to these fans. It ain't to this college.
It's to the check, boy.
Corporate.
You know what Skip used to say, boy? You ain't loyal to nothing but a check. Be loyal to your check.
Yeah, you just a number, boy. That jersey number going to be replaced next year.
When you gone, somebody else going to put it on.
It's crazy out here. Hey, man, move it up. Hey, you hurt? All right, move the practice up.
Move practice up. Move it up 5
yards.
No,
boy.
But no, you
the playoff, whatever is happening, the noise that's happening, the people that are complaining, the people that are stepping up and saying something this year, there needs to be some movement this offseason.
Yeah.
As far as what this is going to look like going forward. Because if not, like, yeah, you can depend on the numbers because people are going to watch you, right? But what can you be, right? If we try to maximize that dollar and the revenue, you wait long enough, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you because time costs. You got to pay for time.
Listen, you know this is about sponsorships. This is about all of that college football has, right? So it's a much bigger, it's a much higher level than what we're just speaking about. Because ultimately, if you take these playoff games away from these bowl games, because that's essentially what they are, right? The Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, that's what it's, a bowl game. So now you start to lose that financial money, the financial support that's coming in from these sponsors, from these donors. And that's not something that college football can afford to do. Not only that, but if you have it at home, now that school is the primary recipient of that revenue, but
they
that's not what it they do, but that's not what it is. But I want to go back to you. That's how it is in the
NFL playoffs. Look, listen, if the Carolina Panthers make it to the playoffs, they get a home playoff game.
Home game.
That means the financial, the economic impact
is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Is going to be out here living. Bars going to be open. Hotels going to be booked. Travel's going to be out here wilding.
Liquor gonna be sold and
Liquor
drank.
gonna be sold and drank. Boots gonna be knocking. Okay.
Yeah. What kind of boots you talking about? Hold on now. Oh,
Yeah.
no, but I'm with you. They should be home playoff games, and I think again, more conversation needs to be had around the playoff. But I want to go back to that complacency piece that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I lived that. You were there. 2019, I'm playing for the Atlanta Falcons. We're whooping the Panthers. I get my first punt return in my career in that game.
Oh yeah, I was right there in the seat.
Yeah,
I was in the seat right there on the outside line, and I watched you. Yeah, that was. Hey, boy, do I got that on video?
If you don't, I do. But anyway, I get my first punt return of my career. I'm having a good game returning the ball. Having a great game returning the ball. I get my punt return. We're whooping the Panthers. I become complacent. I let my guard down. Game is over. Last punt return of the game, I go out there. I'm not even locked in. I've been on the sideline joking, playing around. The game is over. I get out there. I drop the punt. They don't recover it. My coach is like, Coach Parmalee. I was like, boy, why'd you even try and catch that? You should have let that go. Like, I know. But again, complacency. I was complacent with the performance that I had put forth, that I didn't take advantage of the rest of the time I had remaining in the 4 quarters of the game. The game wasn't over.
Yeah.
And so for the players now, I don't care what you're up by. The game is not over. You have to have a apex predator mentality. If you ever watch an apex predator hunt, they don't play with their food. They make sure they're dead before they go in. Because if you play with your food, it's a chance that
heart beating at all.
If you play with your food, it's a chance that your food is going to get away. I mean, Lion King got so many different forms of symbolism, but when Simba goes to see Scar, and he's talking about, I'm going to be the king, and Scar had caught the rat, and so he's constantly catching, and the rat get away. He played with his food. Be a apex predator and kill what you eat. Stay locked in when and for the starters, when the apex predator has his cubs or the female or in a pride, the female lions, when they're teaching those cubs how to hunt, they're teaching them how to get low, blend in, the right time to pounce, and where to strike and how to kill. Be that example for the entire game for them young boys that's coming in. Show them how to kill. Show them what killing your. Show them. Be that example. You have to have an apex predator mentality, and we did not have that. We took our foot off the gas. If you take your foot off the gas against the wrong team, that team is going to come back and it's going to bite you in your behind. Point blank, period. Point blank, period.
Well said.
Appreciate you, bro.
I'm Jonathan Stewart, and I approve this message.
Stamp, man. But I mean, we could get into, we kind of talked about the players and a little bit of what they did. I mean, there's still.
I mean, JMU
we could talk about.
They played hard and they did all the things that they were supposed to do. They ain't turned the ball over.
Nope.
And they put up
running back
500 yards. Hey, that running back, that boy was like a jitterbug out there. Get up out of there. But the 500 yards, man, it just irks me. I just don't like it, and they got to figure it out.
Crazy.
They got to figure it out.
That's crazy. That's embarrassing. Yeah,
500.
That's embarrassing.
500 yards now. They giving up 250 yards. 250 yards a game. That's what they've been doing.
That's embarrassing.
And so,
oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Yeah,
you gave up 300 passing yards and almost 200 yards rushing. I'm starting to go back on what I was just saying. I'm starting to go back. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Again, I'll double down on what I said about Coach Lanning and his staff and the way that they handled this victory. This shouldn't feel like a win.
That made me feel better that you gave me that intel. Yeah. Because if you ain't give me that intel, I'm over here scratching my head now. Like, hey, I hope y'all ain't pleased.
Yeah, nah, they're not. I bet practice hard as hell. I bet practice gonna be hard as hell.
Hey, son, go stand in the corner. You know what? Go stand in the corner. Put some hot sauce on your lips. Like, punishment. Yeah. You ever had hot sauce on your lips when you was little?
As a punishment?
Boy,
as a punishment?
Use it. Yeah, say something wrong if you want to. Get them. You better not lick them. Better not lick your lips. Don't lick that hot sauce off your lips. You better leave them on there.
Better let it sit, huh? Boy, I don't think you grew up you didn't grow up in Washington. You had to grow up in the deep South.
Hey, my mom from Georgia.
Well, there it is.
But
there we have it, people.
There it is.
There we have
it. Yeah. Boy, that's the reason why I'm out here, old soul.
500 yards of total offense. I missed that.
Yeah. 197 by halftime, Kenjon.
That is embarrassing.
Listen, I'm going to give you some more stats. 5 drives for 50 yards plus. 6 scoring drives, okay? 6 against JMU, okay? Now, they had a lot of large chunk plays. It wasn't like they were just like doing whatever they wanted to do, but they was moving that ball. 4 fourth down conversions on 4 attempts.
Yeah.
That's 100% there, fella. Okay? Double pass, 2 yard, the toss reverse run. They was out there showing out. They was like, yeah, open the playbook. Open it up. Let them see it. It'll work. I mean, that's what I don't like.
Let's look at these drives, right? First quarter, JMU field goal. Second quarter, missed field goal, punt, field goal, touchdown, punt, touchdown. Now we get into that second half. But again, the early part of this game, they handled this team.
They handled it.
Regardless of the yards,
they was doing
it was yards
thing.
game. It was yards game.
Yeah.
But you cannot do this.
If that's another team.
There we go. You cannot do this versus a better quality opponent. You cannot give up 500 yards versus a Texas Tech team and expect to win that football game. Boy, you're gonna get your behind whipped. You're gonna get your behind whipped. You're gonna get embarrassed.
Backwards.
You're gonna be because the level of talent, the level of desire is gonna be different. The want to is gonna be different. Because you're about to face a physical team.
Yeah,
you're about to face
especially if you put it on film. They got 2 weeks to prepare for you. They've been preparing for you.
They're licking their
They like, okay. Now, only thing that makes me feel good about this is what you just told me about Dan Lanning and crew post game. Yeah. They was in the locker room. Ain't no music. We back to work. That was unacceptable.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a wake up call that we needed. For young guys to be locked in. Because at the end of the day, injuries will come. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to depend on people.
Speaking of injuries.
Yeah.
Jordan Davison.
All right.
Jordan Davison.
And so you got your dog out there, playing hurt already and putting his body out there because he a baller. He a football player, man.
Yeah.
And so who else is out there doing it like this? Who else got that same type of desire? Who else got that same type of locked-in mentality? Yeah. I mean, you talking about a guy that's football smart. Oh, I can tell everybody on the field where to line up.
Yeah.
Type of guy. You got to be that type of guy. Especially in this day and age. If you not that type of guy, you getting left behind. Back in the day, it was a little different, right?
Yeah.
You can get by with just talent, right? You can get by just by being, a guy that's just athletically gifted. Now, there's too many resources out there, fella. Too many ways of watching film. Too many ways to get ahead.
Yeah.
Like, these boys out here are smarter football players, man. So, Texas Tech, they're going to be ready for you.
Yeah, let's jump into Texas Tech, man. This is going to be one of them ones. You got a hungry team coming out of the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Conference championship, a team that had one hell of a year.
Yeah.
They score 42.5 points a game, second nationally, and allowed 10.9 points a game, third nationally. Yeah. So on paper, high-powered offense, high-powered defense, getting stops. We got Texas Tech defense, has an elite defense overall, especially against the run. So it will be, they've only allowed, if I seen what I seen correctly, they've only allowed 3 opponents to go over 100 yards all season long.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for us, This game is going to come down to the trenches, just like every other game after this for us and every game that'll be played the rest of this playoff series. It's always going to come down to the trenches. It's always going to come down to which team can control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And so for us, I see what Texas Tech has done. And I don't want to discredit who they are because they did exactly what they were supposed to do versus the opponents that they had. But when I look at their opponents, the only thing they really faced was BYU. I don't think they have faced a caliber of opponent as they're going to face in Oregon. Right. So that's where things get a little bit tricky. I don't think you have not faced an offensive line that's like you're going to face in Oregon, who's one of the best top 3 offensive lines in the entire country. And so I think, law firm, baby. So the trenches is just that's gonna determine this game. But where Texas Tech lacks is in the passing game defensively. Yeah. So I think Dante Moore has an opportunity to go out there and pick these guys apart. If we can protect, keep him upright, give him time, keep the integrity of the pocket. If our backs are on time in pass pro, going back to Jordan Davis, and I think that's going to be huge to figure out what his injury is and whether or not he's going to be available and at what % of health will he be available. Because I did not like what I seen with him being helped all the way off the field. That didn't look good. That wasn't reassuring to me. That didn't give me comfort in my heart. I've heard some things. I won't speak on it because that's not my place. That's above my pay grade. But it'll be interesting to see if and at what percentage of health we'll be able to have him at, because he's our best pass protector. He's the smartest back when it comes to knowing where to be and how to get there. Right? Positioning. And so I think it's going to be crucial to get him healthy and get him back, because I do think we can take advantage of this Texas Tech defense from a passing standpoint. Honestly, I think we can have our way however we desire it. We just got to kind of play our brand of football.
Yeah, I think you're right on it. We got Dante Moore. I ain't worried about it. Look, one of the things I realized about Dante Moore and college football as a whole?
Yeah.
This Heisman stuff and all that stuff, all the awards and all that hoop and hollering. Like, the Heisman race this year, pity poo. Dante Moore is the most qualified college football player in all college football to get to the next level, period. You ain't going to be able to talk me off a ledge on that. Going to the grave with it. I jumped off the cliff, no parachute. So
no saving.
So because I just look at him in high profile situations and in the games where you gotta have it, he has performed. I just look at these matchups, and if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm scratching my head at a team like Oregon because of Dante Moore and Will Stein. And the ability that has shown from Oregon with the injuries, the guys have gone down, and you still capable of putting up numbers. And doing things that you want to do. Like, you can still run your offense in 13 personnel. That's amazing. Effectively. And you talk about the pass pro and whatnot. I look at Jaden Lamar. He's coming back. Right? That's a smart football player. That's a guy that they can trust. That's a guy that's going to come in and be, maybe the number one option in third down situations, passing, situations and whatnot. So I'm honestly, man, we might have lost Jordan Davis, and that's a huge blow. I wouldn't rush him back. We know if we get through Texas Tech, we get through that second game, we get him fresh, ready for that natty. That is dangerous, depending on what his situation is. Hopefully it's something that's not too serious to where he's out for that long. But either way, we got DeCorian Moore getting back right. He got his first catch back in this game. He's healthy.
He could have had more. He could have had more.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
But you know what? Like, that's a game that I appreciate with Will Stein not overdosing, right?
Yeah.
Because we know what happens when you overdose. You coming off an injury, you bound to have something else happen, right?
Yeah. Overcompensation of something working over time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gary Bryant Jr. But then you got the guy, you got McClellan, we got Malik Benson. I'm not concerned offensively. Now, when you talk about that run defense for Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not concerned. My only concern is that when you are offensive coordinating, you see that stat line and you say the
rankings shy away from the run game. I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
You still got to dial it up. Okay?
You got to do you. You have to,
boo boo.
To your point, and I said it a little bit ago. Oregon has to play Oregon's brand of football. And what we have been able to do over the course of the last 5-6 games is effectively run the ball. That run games opens up the passing games in turn opens up the run game. It's a complementary progression of football within the offense. So we should not, I don't care what their run defense is. They have not played against our offensive line. They have not faced the law firm. They have not faced the aggressive guys that we have that run the ball. We got some aggressive backs. We got some aggressive O-linemen, and we got some dudes that can run this damn football and run it well.
And we the Big Ten, dog.
Yeah. So you got to show the Big 12 what the Big 10 is all about. Show them who the real big is. Y'all got the big attached to y'all, but it's a facade.
Y'all little big. You know what my daughter say when we see these trucks that we be passing? Like, ooh, Dad, look at that baby truck.
So you said the Big 12 is the Big 12 is babies, big
baby trucks. They baby trucks. Big over there. You know.
Yeah. So man, I think we gotta play our brand of football. And again, I'm hoping that Jordan is gonna be A1 and I hope he's able to play. Now, do I know? I don't know. And we're not. Let's get this straight. We're not saying that we know any particular detail about his injury. But from the looks of it, of what it looked
off
like,
the field, went on weight bearing,
it did not look good. That's never a good sign. Sign. And I know Jordan, he's not soft. So if he needed help getting off the field, he needed help getting off the field. And so that's where we're talking from. We're not sitting here saying to y'all that we know something that y'all don't. But
that boy, Baby Bowser, man, like he ain't going down without a fight.
No, he's not. He's not. So I want to before we get on up out of here, I want to get what are your keys to victory for us?
Well, we playing the waiting game again, so gotta wait another week, or not a week. Yeah, I mean, I guess this has been a week, but
so you get this week off, then next week.
Yeah, you get this week off, and then you play next week, and then I think you just gotta For the internal piece of this, you have to figure out how you're going to lock in. And then what are you going to do while you're in the game to stay locked in? The defense has to stay locked in. Offensively, you had a really good showing, but you still got to carry it over. And I think, when it comes to a game where you are facing a good defense, it comes down to the level of discipline. Offensively, offensive line, you got to win in the trenches, but you got to win the right way. You can't be out here holding, getting stupid penalties and whatnot. You gotta have the mentality that they gonna bring it, and you have to be prepared and willing to step in there and just maintain, but not just maintain, deliver more. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever you did this past week, whatever you've been doing this year, you need to go above and beyond and play and see how good you can get, man. Like we talked about this before. We play this game to see how good we can get. You go against you get a chance to play the number one ranked run defense in all of college football.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a chance to basically go against that and say, nah, y'all not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why. Put it on film, right? So I totally agree with you with the trenches. I think winning the trenches in this game, is the number one key. So I'm riding with that and sticking with that. Dante Moore, there's really no coaching, no points, no key delivery, as far as talking about what's to expect of him, because we know what we're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
The trenches is where we're going to win this game.
Yeah. We're doubling down and standing on what I said, the trenches. That's where this game started. But I think we have to attack this team through the air. That's mandatory. Their secondary has not performed well. They've given up a ton of yards through the air. So if that is where our advantage is, let's maximize that advantage.
Right. You got to attack it. I like that. I like that where you're going, because it's basically you saying like they coming off of a longer bye week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got that rush, you got that dust. In Texas
Rust
Tech,
and dust.
the best way to hit them, you hit them early in that passing game, right?
Yeah.
But do not abandon that.
No, you
run.
don't. You don't abandon. You don't avoid. You run the ball. Listen, I don't care who you have. I have more faith in what we have versus what you do well. I believe in what we do over how effective you believe that you are. I believe our system. I believe our guys. I believe what we have in house is better than what you guys present. That's just me, and that's how you have to approach this game. That's how you have to approach this game. I love Jacob Rodriguez, but if he's a killer, go at the killer. Show me you a killer. I'm coming right at you. And once you show me, guess what? You gotta show me again.
Put me in a cage and lock it up.
Listen,
I'm
if
here.
I'm in the woods with the bear, you better help the bear. Don't help me, help the bear.
Don't help me, help the bear.
Help the bear. That's the mentality that you have to have. And so when you have a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, who has been in the running or has won every award that you could win this year, AJ Holmes is another cat that they have who's an All-American. Go at them. Go at their strength.
Yeah.
Because listen, if we break what you're strong at, your weakness becomes louder. So attack. Attack. So attack the passing defense.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that from?
God. Yeah.
Boy, God delivering, ain't he? Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah,
Look at God. Boy, that was good, boy.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Hey,
make
sure y'all chop that up, man. Hey, people need to hear that. Yeah, that's a doggone miracle right there.
These wheels be turning.
Holiday spirits. Yeah,
these wheels be turning. Because I mean, that's real though. If I break your strength, all you have left is your weakness. That's it. If I beat you at what you're strong at, that's what it is. Now your weakness becomes louder.
Now it's
because you have no strength to rely on. What you thought you were strong at, I've exposed as a weakness.
Yeah. What you thought you were is no longer.
What you thought you were is no longer. You are who I said you were, not who you thought you were. You are who I said you were. You are who I made you.
Who you were today, who you were yesterday, is not who you are today. Because I made you who you are today.
There it is.
Hey, look. There's a sermon right here, boy.
So yeah, that's it. You win the trenches, run the football. We have to have red zone efficiency. We have to be very efficient in the red zone. Touchdowns over field goals all day long, and win third down on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
Get off the field and stay on the field. Wear this defense down. Lean on them.
Wear them down.
Lay on them. Wear them down, and that's how you win this game. You know, look, we played back in 2023, early in the season. You had Tyler Shuck. You had Tyler Shuck at quarterback for Tech. Yeah, he was at quarterback. You had Bucky at RB. You had Kyrie, rest in peace, who got a pick in that game. Bassa, who still put the nail in the coffin with the pick for like a pick six with like 40 seconds left in the game. Ducks got the win 38-30. So this isn't a opponent that we haven't faced, right? So it's the history's there. But that was then, this is now. And so with that being said, the Ducks are a 1.5 point favorite, if I remember correctly. Let me check my stats. Yeah, we're a 1.5 point favorite. I mean, it's very, this is over. But I mean, I would never go under.
Definitely over. They only giving us one?
One.
Child, please.
One. Yeah.
Look, man, this is what the Ducks going to do. They're going to get in that water down there in Florida. Ducks going to find that salt water. They go, ooh, it's kind of nice. I ain't going to be here too long, though. Trying to get up out of here. Right? Too hot. You know, trying to get home. So what they're going to do is they're going to get in there. And they're going to start off hot. I think we're gonna have a start off with a touchdown. Quick touchdown. Right? And go down again. We're gonna hold them first. We're gonna hold them. Defense is gonna do their job because Texas Tech's offense ain't really potent. And they're gonna be rusty and dusty. And then we're gonna score again. 14-0, right? And then all of a sudden you're gonna hit a little pause button. You know, check out the scenery. It'll be nice and sunny. Like, wow, it's real cold back home, right? You know, you just flapping your wings around.
Yeah.
And they're going to score about 10 points on us, right? So it's going to be 14-10 going into the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And then that third quarter, Kenyon. Remember last year we had problems with third quarters?
We ain't going to have that problem.
Not this year.
We ain't got that problem.
17.
I like it.
31-17.
I like it. And I'm gonna stay right there. That's what we're gonna ride. That's what we're gonna ride with.
We buckled up?
We buckled up. We strapped up. We ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a week to prepare. And we will tune in to this game come January 1st. We got the early game 12. We got the 12 o'clock slot out there at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, baby. So, MIAO, here we come. And with that being said, I love you.
Love you too, big dog.
And as always, ducks of a feather flock together, and we out.